right, let's dive into a pretty wild economic idea. It's a story about your lunch, your money, and a future that, well, might be a lot closer than you think. $50. Just take a look at that number. What if I told you that someday this is what you'd be paying for a single burrito? Yep, for one. I know, it sounds absolutely nuts, right? A joke, maybe? But the real question isn't if it could happen, it's how could it not? This isn't some random guess. It's the end result of a powerful economic force that is always, always at work. That's right, the journey to that $50 burrito, it's not really a prophecy. It's just math. It's a calculation, and we're about to break down exactly how it all adds up. The source for this whole explainer puts it pretty bluntly. It frames this shocking price not as a maybe, but as an it's gonna happen. So what's the secret ingredient here? What's the hidden force that makes this a statistical certainty? Okay, let's pull back the curtain. It's time to meet the invisible force that's silently, day after day, chipping away at the value of the money in your pocket. And there it is, the culprit, the engine driving this entire thing. It's inflation. Now, you've heard this word a million times, but let's really look at what it does. To put it really simply, inflation just means that over time, your dollar buys you less stuff. As the price of everything, gas, groceries, and yep, burritos, goes up, the actual power of your money goes down. And this right here is the core of the issue. Because of inflation, any cash you have just sitting around, whether it's in a savings account or stuffed under a mattress, is on a slow but steady march toward being less valuable. It is, by definition, a guaranteed loss of your purchasing power. Let's make this real. Imagine you have $100 today. You can go out and buy 100 things that each cost $1. Easy. But if we have just a 3% inflation rate, in 1 year, that exact same $100 bill can only buy you 97 of those exact same items. The other 3, they've basically just vanished from your reach. So, okay, a few pennies here, a few cents there. That doesn't sound so terrible, right? But this is where the second, and honestly, the much more powerful force comes into play, and that's compounding. I mean, it seems like a massive leap, doesn't it? A tiny 2 or 3% price hike each year feels totally manageable. So how in the world do we get from a normal burrito to a lunch that costs $50? Well, the answer is that the increase builds on top of itself year after year after year. Let's just walk through the math real quick. We start with a $15 burrito. After 1 year, at 3% inflation, it's $15.45. But here's the crucial part. In year 2, that 3% gets calculated on the new price, the $15.45, not the original 15. It's a tiny difference at first, but this is the snowball just starting to roll downhill. Now let's zoom out and see what this looks like. Over the long haul, the power of this is, well, it's incredible. You can see, for the first couple of decades, the price increase is pretty steady. But then, look at how that curve just starts to get steeper and steeper. That small, consistent percentage creates exponential growth, and it's what pushes the price from around $31 after 25 years all the way up to $50. And that brings us to the verdict. We found our culprit, inflation. We figured out its method, compounding. So now, let's just lay out the final timeline. So here it is, the whole journey laid out. Starting with our $15 burrito today, we're gonna cross that $25 mark in about 2 decades. But from there, things really speed up. We hit $40 less than 20 years after that. And finally, we reach that $50 price tag, that statistical certainty right around the year 2077. The math just works. So we've solved the mystery of the $50 burrito. But let's be real, this was never just about lunch. It's time to talk about what this really means for you and for your money. That burrito is just a stand-in, right? It's a delicious, foil-wrapped metaphor for the cost of literally everything. Your rent, your car, your education, your retirement, healthcare, every single one of those prices is on its own compounding journey. So what's the big takeaway here? Well, it means your savings have to grow faster than inflation just to break even. It means that same compounding force is driving up your entire cost of living. And that means any long-term plan you have for a house, for retirement, you have to account for the fact that $1 in the future is going to be worth way less than $1 today. To put it simply, just holding on to cash is a losing game. And that leaves us with one last kind of fascinating question to chew on. We think of money as this fixed thing, $1 is $1. But if its power, its ability to actually buy things is constantly changing, then what is its true value? What does your money truly represent?